Update 14 for Elite Dangerous is rapidly approaching. It's set to be perhaps the largest update of the year so far, and Frontier are calling this a major narrative update. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what it's going to contain just yet, but it does seem to be some rather bright star-like hints on the horizon. These perhaps are the so-called Stargoids. But what do they mean for the game? Let's speculate about that in just a moment. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Horizons 4.0 is now available for everyone, at least it's been available for quite a while. That said, Odyssey owners cannot access it, and this is because Frontier, for some reason, have decided to block Odyssey owners from Horizons 4.0 in the Odyssey or in the game launcher. Now, fortunately for all of us, there is a workaround to this, more on that in just a moment. Update 14 then, what is this all about? On the screen right here you can see Frontier's sparse roadmap they released a little while ago. It gave us some insight into what to expect from Elite Dangerous over the coming months, and it does give us some insight right up to some point next year where we see a key feature overhaul as well. For this year though, the update we're most focused in on is the November update, the major narrative update. It seems very likely at this point that this may feature or may be related to the space anomalies. Now these appeared shortly after Update 13 and the events of the Azimuth saga and the firing of the superweapon, the Proteus wave. That of course failed spectacularly, and the Thargoids made a bit of significant advance on towards humans. Shortly after that, these anomalies appeared in space. The very first of these appeared beyond the Cole 70 sector, which is a permit-locked region of space. Now, ever since Frontier locked this region of space, I think back in 2015, maybe 2016, it's been long speculated that it would have of some importance to the future of the game. This, after all, is a stunningly beautiful area of the game as it surrounds the Barnard's Loop region. Now, at any rate, the anomaly that appeared right here in this area of space was not the only anomaly. As we expected at the time, more soon appeared. These moved from star system to star system, eventually to set a singular course travelling through interstellar space. They all, so far at least, seem to be converging on coordinates 000, otherwise known as the Solar System and our home, Earth. Of course, just because that is the seeming destination of these anomalies, it doesn't mean that is where they're going to head. They may stop off anywhere along the way, or they may change course at some point. It's also equally possible that they may reach Earth and simply keep on travelling. But really, it seems very likely that Sol is indeed their destination, or at the very least the inhabited bubble. Now, their arrival time has been calculated somewhat, not easy to calculate, but it seems rough estimations suggest that they would arrive in the inhabited bubble or around Sol during early November or maybe even early December, so roughly a 4 to 5 week window there. Of course, that lines up perfectly with the release window for Update 14. So those are pretty much the facts. That's what we know so far based upon information that we can all access within the game itself. So speculation time. What does this actually mean for the game? Well, there's a number of theories here. Some seem more plausible than others. Firstly, Galnet has summarised or made some suggestions of what it could be. One of them is a warp, a stargate, a type of wormhole perhaps, through which the Thargoids may be able to pour. The second is a superweapon. This, what we're seeing, is an energy weapon, a blast that has been fired towards human-inhabited space. A third suggestion is that this is a Thargoid fleet of some type, a Thargoid mothership maybe, and it's this third theory that I personally tend to lean towards the most. It seems the most obvious and fitting conclusion, or the fitting next step, the aftermath in the whole ongoing story with Elite Dangerous. Additionally, if we were to step back a few years, you may remember that quite a few people across multiple YouTube channels as well as different Twitch streams reported on activity information that was found within game files, and these kind of hinted towards potential Thargoid motherships. Of course, nothing ever came of that. Frontier are well known for putting information and content into the game files that sometimes never manifest, or other times it does manifest, but it takes many years to do so. Either way, if I were a betting man, it's here where I would place my bet. But what does this actually mean? Well, it could mean many things. Frontier have said multiple times publicly through many interviews across the internet that Update 14 will change the game's galaxy forever. So it means that the update is very likely significant. Although to be perfectly fair and honest here, what Frontier sometimes consider significant is not at all the same as what players consider significant. But putting that particular issue aside at the moment, if it were to be motherships, Thargoid motherships that arrive in the bubble here, it could mean a brand new space-based content, and it could also mean new FPS Thargoid content. But it really is hard to speculate on just how that would be implemented and what it would mean. After all, there's our dream vision, our hopes and imaginations of what may happen. In this case, massive Thargoid motherships descending down on the homeworlds, the capital planets of the humanity, and destroying them or causing havoc, Earth burning, the Imperial home systems burning, and the Alliance home systems burning as well. Problems all over. That would be pretty epic to see. Additionally, so would the idea of Thargoid motherships which we can board and get involved in some FPS combat with the aliens on board. But that all seems perhaps a little bit too hopeful. I'm not going to discount it just yet. It may happen, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that count. But whatever way it does go in the end, it's really going to have to be something pretty spectacular just to live up to the hype that so far Frontier have generated. This, after all, has been long in the planning, and it's a part of the reason why Odyssey is required as well as Horizons 4.0. Apparently, users of Horizons 3.8 will not be able to experience all of this brand new content. And this brings us rather nicely onto the subject of Horizons 4.0. As most of you will be well aware at this point, Horizons 4.0 allows players to experience much of the new story content. It's an upgrade from Horizons 3.8, a free upgrade at that, and it seemed completely reasonable to assume that everyone who owns Elite would get access to Horizons 4.0, both Horizons owners as well as Odyssey players. For whatever reason though, Frontier have decided to artificially block Odyssey players from being able to access Horizons 4.0. Well, turns out it is an option. There is a workaround on this, and it requires Odyssey players, to download a third-party launcher. Now, this launcher has been around for quite a while and nobody has ever found any problems with it, so it appears to be perfectly safe, although of course if you do decide to try this out for yourselves, then you do so at your own risk. That said, I have tried it out myself and it does works flawlessly and pretty easy to set up. I will link a guide to the entire process in the video description below. The bottom line here is that if you're an Odyssey owner on PC, you will then have access to Horizons 4.0. Likewise, if a friend of yours has got only Horizons, they will be able to load up Horizons 4.0 and then you'll be able to go off and play together. Fun times. Whether or not Frontier condone this, however, whether or not it is a potential violation of the terms of service is very certainly open to interpretation. So again, you do so at your own risk. But yeah, so far Frontier haven't put a stop to it, so there is that for now. There's also one additional remaining outstanding question, and this is for those players who bought the Lifetime Pass back in the very early days of Elite. The Lifetime Pass was different to the Horizon Season Pass in that the Lifetime Pass granted access to every single DLC that Frontier would ever release. Of course, Horizons 4.0 should theoretically be classed as a DLC, yet it's not available to Lifetime Pass holders. Based upon what I've seen on the forums here from the community managers, they are actively seeking an answer for this one from the management team, I guess, and something they should hopefully get back to us all on soon. Either way, that brings us to the end of this video. Do let us know your speculations. Do let me know your speculations in the comment section below on what you think the Thargoids actually are, or the space anomaly. Is it related to the Thargoids? Is it something completely unrelated? Is it connected to Update 14? And if so, what do you think it could be? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.